Hey guys, it's Tom Shu here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to convert um, your images to black and white, kind of in my preferred way. Lightroom has lots of different presets. I've created lots of presets, and I like the way they look. However, when I want a really dramatic black and white, and I want to control the shadow areas in a little bit more specific way, I use Photoshop. Let me show you what I do. First of all, we need to get the file over to Photoshop, so that's Control E or Command E on a Mac, or right click Edit in Photoshop. So you'll send that over hitting your shortcut, and there's your image. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the lab color mode. LAB stands for lightness A and B, I believe. Yeah, that's what it is, lightness A and B. So we're going to come over here to do image mode lab color. Okay. Now if you come to the channels, you'll see that you've got your lightness A and B. We're only interested in this lightness channel. Okay. So with the lightness selected, instead of trying to teach you how to delete everything else and save just only this channel, is if you come over to image mode and you click on grayscale, it will delete all the rest of those channels. Okay. Now this is kind of where the luminosity mask tutorial comes into place, because we're going to actually load a selection here. So we're going to hold down the control key, and that's the command key on a Mac, and you see we get this, we hover this little channel here, we get this box. That means it's going to load up a selection. Not loaded up the highlights, and we're interested in the shadows, so we need to invert that selection. And that's Control Shift I or Command Shift I on the Mac, or you come over here under Select and hit Inverse. Okay, now that that's inversed, we're going to go back to the RGB space. Okay, so we're going to go Image Mode RGB. We'll go back to our layers, and we're going to create a new layer, but this is going to be a solid color layer. We're going to use this for tinting. Okay, so this little half dip Oreo cookie or whatever you want to call it, you click on it and choose solid color. Okay, and I've been really digging this blues a lot lately, so I'm going to tint it blue. Okay, we're going to click OK. So it looks great, doesn't it? No, it looks horrible. So we're going to change our blend mode to multiply. Where are you, multiply? There we go, right at the top. And we're going to drag the opacity down. Okay, first I bring it to 0, and I start to bring it back up to where I get kind of the tint that I'm looking for, somewhere around 20%. But I find that if I just use the opacity, it leaves a little bit to be desired as far as I'm concerned. It's a little bit tinted too much. So I bring the fill down to 0, and I also bring that up, so I just get a taste of that color tint that I'm looking for. So somewhere around in this area looks good to me. Alright, so now we need to combine everything onto its own layer. Okay, so to do that, the shortcut is Alt Control Shift E, or that's Command Option Shift E on a Mac, E as in Edward. Now we've got everything on its new layer. What we're going to do is we're going to change the blend mode of this to overlay. Okay. Now this is a little bit much, so we're going to drag our opacity down somewhere around 18-20% range, somewhere in there. 20 is fine. Last thing we'll do to finish up to make this thing pop is we're going to change something. We're going to add this filter, other, and then we're going to choose high pass. This is going to sharpen our image up. Now what I like to do is I like to go to an area of the image where I see the detail, and I want to look for haloing when I do this. So I'll bring this down to 0, and you can see that nothing's being applied, and as I bring it up, it starts to add the effect from this filter. And when you bring it up to a certain point, you can start to see where you'll get a halo around it. Actually, it's not doing it as much in this particular area. Okay, let's pull this down here. And you can see as I increase this, you see it starts to get the halo underneath of that water there. I'll bring it up to a point where that halo is kind of gone, and it's even, but it's not black like this area. See there, see it's all black. We want to bring it up to a point where that halo starts to even out and flatten. And I find in this image it works somewhere around 50. Let's see here, 52. That's fine. We'll click 52. Okay, so now we applied that effect. You can see how this image looks with and without it. So it kind of pops real good with that high pass. So that's it. That's my method. Now I'm going to show you this same effect just to a grayscale. size image. So if we go image mode grayscale, yes, we'll discard everything for now. This is the same image. This is my conversion of it. You see how it just pops so much more versus a standard grayscale version. So that's it. We'll click File, Save, or Control S, and it will send us back into Lightroom so it can live in our catalog as a PSD file. You see that? So all those layers will be embedded into the file, and we can play with it again any other time we like. Say we wanted to add more blue to it, for example. You just open the file back up, change your opacity, there's more blue, and you hit save. So that's it. Thank you all for taking time to visit today. Until next time, we'll see you soon.